because at the end of the day, as a QA or as a software tester, you want to, show that application is broken. Okay. Okay. So let's start with this acceptance testing. Okay. So this is a generic term. Okay. This is actually specific acceptance testing. There is something called UAT, user acceptance testing. Okay. So so there's a different team. So actually it's not from the QA point of view, it will be a different team. And why do you require this? Okay, and the reason you have this, to make sure, requirements, to verify the system meets customer specified requirements. Okay, so sometimes what happens, right? Customer sends a requirement. Okay, customer is not like always a user, right? Customer can be, it can be a client. It can be some company might work with some other company. Okay, so here's the thing. Let's take an example, right? Let's say I was actually working for the US Solar. So US Solar is working with the two different companies. Okay, this Amdocs, that's the whatever the CRM concept, and the IBM people. So now customer can be an IBM, right? IBM is a customer, and they want this application, and they are looking for this kind of thing. Then US Solar actually designs for them, or vice versa. IBM wants some application, and they want them to design for them. So that's what it means by customer specified requirements. Okay. So this testing is done to verify the system meets customer specified requirements. Okay, its customer is not really always people or individual. Customer can also be a company who is looking to work from those companies. Okay, so that's what it means by so there was an UAT team. Okay, UAT team which was done right after QA. After QA they used to do UAT, user acceptance testing, and the requirements will be same, but the way they do the testing is as per their requirements. It's not our test case. They don't use our test case. They have their own test cases. They prepare their own UAT test cases. Okay, and they will execute those test cases by themselves. Not they don't use any QA test cases. Okay, so that is UAT. What is UAT? UAT means testing to verify if the system meets the customer specified requirements. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's talk about this performance testing. Okay, this performance testing is actually classified into two types. There is load testing and stress testing. Okay, it's classified into two types. We talk about this load testing and stress testing. Now, so before going to performance testing, right? Let's have some little bit knowledge on why do we really require this performance testing, right? It's a non-functional testing. It's also called as non-functional testing. That means you're really not testing any functionality of an application. You're not testing any features, not functionality, no, nothing. You are actually testing the performance of the system. Okay, so let's take an example here. Let's go to Amazon.com. Let's take an example. Okay, so let's say Amazon.com has bought a server. Okay, they bought a server, and they're hosting this this web application. Okay, they have to host somewhere, right? So it's all hosted in the server. Okay, and let's say the server capability is 50 users. Okay, the server can handle only 50 users. Okay, so now we are not even talking about clicking these buttons. Okay, there's a lot of stuff here, right? You just click this button. We are not even talking about this clicking of this at this point of time. What we want to is the people who are using it. Let's say putting this URL and entering this. That's it. Now there are million people who will be accessing this Amazon.com, right? It's not one or two people because it's all over the world. And unless this is blocked by this government, okay, this URL, anyone can use it, right? Whoever has the internet, they can use it, okay? So this is all over the world. So it's not specific to only one country or two countries. Anyone in the world can use it, okay? Now, let's say there are millions of people who are accessing, okay, this web website, right? This URL. And now let me ask you this. Now the server capability is 50, right? That means server can handle 50 users. Now let me ask you this question. So what happens if 100 people are logging in? It's not even logging, just using this, this URL, just using this URL and using, entering into website. Can anyone tell what happens?
This URL will hang. It will not work. It will hang for some time.
Okay, it will become slow. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Okay, good. It will lag. Okay, that's good. Anyone else? That's good. It's good. That's good.
It take time.
It will take time. Okay. Anyone else? Yeah. So all these, all these scenarios will come up across. Okay. This is that will happen, right? Because the server capability is only 50 users, and now you cannot go beyond that. Why? Because whenever you're trying to do this, there's a lot of backend things are happening. Because the process should run fast. Because there's a lot of people are logging in, and you have to see that people are getting this access, and a lot of memory is utilized, right? A lot of memory, RAM is will be utilized. A lot of RAM will be used, and then processor keeps running fast and fast and fast. If a lot of people are running, it gets faster, and at the end it may got hardware failure, right? The server gets blown up. Why? Because it cannot handle that many users at that point of time. Okay, suddenly 100 people are logging in it. Now it's too much of load, so that's called load, right? You're putting load on that server. Okay, now that's the load testing. No, that's the load. Okay, that's the load on the server, and you're trying to see why it is happening too much load. Okay, so now let's see. This Amazon really bought another server. Okay, let's say they bought another server. Now there's something called load balancer. Okay, it may be a hardware, it may be software. Okay, let's say they have both. They bought this hardware and this. They install this software. Now what happens right now? Let's say 100 people are logging into that Amazon.com at once. Okay, what this load balancer does is, let's say the server capability is 50. It takes out the 50 users and puts into another server. Okay, now it's good. No, you don't have any issues. No lagging. Okay, no crashing of application. No server blown up, because these are both users are equally divided into two different servers because of load balancer. So that's something called load balancer. Okay, this is a concept. You don't have to it's nothing to do with software, but it's just a concept how the load is handled. Okay. So that's how you'll able to manage the load. You have to distribute the load, because one server cannot handle too much of load at that given point of time. Okay. So let's go to back here. So in the performance testing, this is classified in two types: load testing. So let's say load testing. So here, of course, load testing and stress testing are done by the tools. There is no manual work here. That means here nobody, is putting load anything, because 1,000 people, 2,000 people, the value, but 2,000, 5,000, 6,000 people, but there's really nobody is there to work for 5,000 people, right? So they use tool, something called load runner. There's something tool called load runner or load UI. Okay, load runner is from HP. Okay. So that's a different tool altogether. So what do we do in the load testing? So load testing is to identify the bottleneck of an application. That means at which point of time the application gets crashed. Okay, this to identify the bottleneck of an application is called load testing. So let's see here. Testing an application under heavy loads. So that's testing of website. We already talked about this. So what happens, what you do exactly here is you actually plot the graph. So this graph is automatically plotted once you keep on adding the loads. Okay, then you have a tool, and the tool actually has an option to put the load. That means how much load are you giving to server. It automatically generates 1,000 people load, how much load it requires by 1,000 people, and puts on the server, and you see the graph that changes how the application is performing, how the application is slowing down, or that's why some applications are slow and some applications are fast. This is the reason, right? There's too much upload. Okay, so that is to test that application, to identify the bottleneck of an application is called load testing.
In the load testing, there is the server down. We can say that.
Actually, you don't you don't do anything which gets the server down. You actually plot the graphs. So there are various graphs like throughput, memory usage, RAM usage, okay, operating system. So how is the performance? So you normally see the performance, but not really the server down. You don't really go beyond that. You don't go to server down. Does it make sense?
Okay.
Okay, so you are performing within the limits. We cannot go beyond the limits. Server is blown up. You don't do something like that. We already know that this server handles this many users. Let's say 100 users, 200 users. We don't go beyond that. Okay, if this is working, if any peak value is coming up, and yes, there might be scenario which server can be down because of this too much upload. Okay, so in that case, that's the reason you need this load test. That's one of the reasons why you need, because too many people are logging it and you don't know what to do, and you have to give the report to your boss saying this, why the server is keeping on, keep shutting on, and server is down, people cannot access this, what's the problem? So in that scenario, you want to use this load testing and see what's happening. Okay, any more questions? Okay, so let's go to the next one. So next we have this stress testing. Okay, so now this is stress testing is now you're going beyond the load. Okay, that means now so far we are not bothered about clicking of these buttons, right? Now we are just using that user, we're just using this and putting this in the address bar and just entering it. So that's what we were worrying about. That's what you in the load testing. Now what happens in the stress testing is, now, let's say a million people are accessing this URL. Not just accessing, they are creating the accounts, they are clicking these buttons, whenever this, clicking this, it goes to the next page. Okay, so all this happening is called stress testing, because million people are doing the same thing. The server has to run faster. Okay, because of that. So what happens, right? Let me tell you what actually happens. So when you see this, let's say this is a web page, right? Now, whenever you're clicking this, so it has to have a database, right? Now all these images, you see this, all these images, URLs and buttons, it has to store somewhere, right? Where it has to store? Database. Of course, at the end of the day, it's a database. Okay, but here you're not seeing, so that's called backend. So that's called backend, and this is called front end. Okay, now when you click some button, okay, let's say I want to click some button here. Okay, let's say a sign in button. Now what happens, right? When you click on that, now it goes to that particular database. It generates a SQL. It generates, nobody is doing select star, nobody is typing here. It automatically the server is generating a SQL query and executing that SQL query, and this is web page you're showing up. That means the SQL has generated it and showing up for you here. So that's the reason I got this page. That's what it happens at the back end. Okay, so this front end and back end is actually interrelated to each other. It's no different. Okay, this is interrelated. Whatever you're doing in the UI, that means if my name is here, that means it's getting updated in the database. That means now it shows the database that I'm logging into it, and the database has this value that I logged in at this time. Okay, so all these values are updated in the database and are shown up here in the UI. And if there is no images, no URLs, then you will not be seeing here. Okay, because it is there in the database. That's what it is happening. Okay, so Now that's what it happens in the stress. Okay, so here let's go back here. So system is stressed beyond its specification to check how and when it fails. Okay, perform under heavy load like putting large number beyond storage capacity, complex database queries. Okay, so that's what I mean, right? Complex database queries means nobody is writing SQL query, select start. The complex database query means whenever you click something, click some button, okay, click some URL, click some images, that server is actually generating a SQL script and then executing by itself and showing up the different web page. That's what it means by complex database queries. Okay, no manual. In production, there is no manual. Okay, everything is automated. No, user interface. No user will be, intervening here. Okay, so that's what it means by complex database queries and continuous input to system or database load. So all this, when you are doing this, this is called stress testing. Okay, so at the end of the day, how the application is responding and what you actually do, again, you plot all the graphs. How you notice all this is by only plotting by graphs. Okay, you get a lot of graphs there. Actually, just name only few. There are like plenty of graphs, like in at least 10 to 20 graphs. Okay, what is the memory usage of the server, and what is the RAM usage, how is the processor performing, the processor graph, how fast it's going, and how much speed it's running on. This is one thing, and what the operating system, how the Unix throughput is coming up. So all these graphs are plotted and then viewed. Okay, so this is how peak value. This is what when the users are at this peak time. Somebody is getting too high. So what we are going to do? Okay. So that is management perspective. Whatever they are going to do, maybe they'll buy a new server or new load balancer or something like that. And our job is to perform this load testing and stress testing. Does it make sense? Okay, so let's go next one. Let's just put it here. So there's something called usability testing. Okay, that means that user friendly. So here you want to see the user friendliness of an application. Okay, usability testing is user friendliness. Okay, let's take an example here. Okay, let's go back to our Amazon.com. I'll give you an example here. So let's say I'm a regular customer of Amazon, right? I'm a regular customer and not even regular, I'm a new customer. Let's take it as I'm a new customer. I don't know how is this application, what is this all about, I don't know. Okay, now I want to sign in because I want to create my account, because I want to buy stuff, I want to track my order, and I want to see the shipping and all those things. I want to sign in, right? Now, if I have to sign in, that should be right in front of my face. Okay, this is good. Okay, sign in. So I have to, it has to be right in front of my face. Okay, now okay, good. That's signing is right here. That's good. That's the user friendliness. Now if you say now signing button should be here somewhere, how would I know? Okay, so this is a footer of the page, and if you put signing button here, and I'm a new customer, I'm not regular guy, and I'm a new customer, and I don't find signing. Oh no, man, I don't want to buy from it. I'll buy from different company. That's the important. Like business will lose if you're not being user friendly. Okay, so that's the importance of user friendliness. Okay, if a customer is not happy, then it's no point, because at the end of the day, it's a business, and business is going to lose. So that's what user friendliness. Okay, just an example of signing. It's not only signing. There are a lot of things that has to be considered when doing an usability testing. Okay. So let's see here what is written. So it's a user-friendly check. Application flow is tested so that new user can understand the application easily. Okay. So if a new user, just comes around and wants to sign in or wants to buy something, it has to be right in front of the face, right? cannot put in some insignificant place and do it. So obviously customer will go to the next company and say, no man, I'll buy from eBay, or I'll buy from different company. I don't like these people are not user friendly, right? So that's what the importance of usability testing. Okay. Next, we go to install and uninstall testing. So this is more related to client applications. Whenever you download, okay, you have to install it. Any application or anything, you have to install it. Once you install and uninstall it, you want to see what are the changes. Okay, so that is called install and uninstall testing. So it's more related to client applications, not web applications. Okay, so these are related to both. It can be client application, it can be a web application, but this specifically install and uninstall testing is more related to client applications. Whenever you install it, you want to test it. Is it installing properly? Are all the files are getting updated? Are all those things? Okay, so that's called install and uninstall testing. Let's go to the next one. Okay, then you have this recovery testing. So you want to see this, how well the system, let's say the system gets crashed, right? So how well it recovers from the crash. Okay, to test that is called recovery testing. Okay, then you have this security testing. Okay, so in this, so what we do in security testing is, in a system be penetrated in any hacking way. Okay, testing how well the system protects. So let's take an example of this security testing. Okay, let's take here. Okay, here let's go back to here google.com. So if you have this, if you see this google.com, right? If you see here, there's a protocol here. So what's the protocol? HTTPS. Okay, so usually it was HTTP, that means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Okay, now S is that just simple as putting S becomes S, HTTPS. It's HTTPS is Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. Just by putting S doesn't make it as HTTPS. The S, okay, is not just you can append it or something like that. It has a certificate at the back end. Actually, this is an algorithm. Okay, what happens, right? In this HTTPS, whenever you try to search something, whenever you want to search, right, it has to be in HTTPS. Why? That means if it is HTTP, then there are so many people who are trying to get the information what you are trying to do online, right? So whenever if you let's say you are making an online transaction, let's say online transaction, you are giving a lot of information there, right? You're giving credit card information, you're giving your address, you're giving your SSN, a lot of things you're doing online. Now, if this is not HTTPS, then obviously a lot of people will be getting information of your, so what is your address, what is your credit card number, and all those things. That's not good. That means somebody, you don't even need to hack this. It's like they just put that protocol there and they get all this information from what you are trying to do. Okay, so that's not good. This IP address, just put this IP address and they try to pull up all this information. Now they get all the information. So you don't even have to go that detail to hack it. It's a simple thing. Now, what this HTTPS does is, whatever you're trying to do, right? Let's say you're trying to put your credit card information. So what it does is, it encrypts your data into an algorithm. So there's an algorithm. Okay, so a lot of algorithms actually, I don't remember, there's 24 bits, 256 bits, a lot of things. So it encrypts your data, and it can only be decrypted at this Google server or or whatever transaction you're making from Amazon server or Google server or any other server. Okay, now when it is getting transported from one place to another, now even if the hacker gets the information, they don't know how to decrypt it because they don't know what the algorithm they are using it. Even if they don't know the algorithm, they don't know how to use it. Okay, because it is in the all garbage form. Okay, so you don't know what's actually the information mean. Okay, so that's the that's called security testing. You're trying to test how how well system protects against unauthorized and internal and external access. Okay, this is just an example. Okay, this is an example of HTTPS. There's a lot of things. Okay, this is just an example to understand what is security testing. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So next we have this compatibility testing. Okay, so here what you're trying to do is, you want to see how the software is compatible. Okay, what hardware you're using, which software are you using. You're using Windows, you're using Unix, using Mac, so all these operating systems. Okay, is it compatible to all of the systems? Is it compatible to that hardware? So to test all this is called compatibility testing. Okay, then let's go to the next one. Is comparison testing. Now you want to compare the two products. So two different versions. Okay, so here it said two different versions with the similar products. Okay, it's like, let's say Firefox. Okay, so let's say I used to use this Firefox. Now there's so many versions of Firefox, right? There's this is like I think 56. There's like who's coming up from 30s. I know 30, 31 version, 32 version, 33, and so on. Okay, so now you want to compare with the two different versions with the same product is called comparison testing. Okay, just an example. It can be any software, not Firefox or not Chrome, or it can be any web application, any client application. Okay, so that's comparison testing. You want to compare between the two products with the different versions. What does this version do? What this version doesn't do? Okay, all those things. Okay, so let's go to the next one. There's something called alpha testing. So then what happens is normally in some companies, developer, once the code is, let's say they have written the code and the code is good, before moving the code into test environment, right? Before moving from the dev environment to test environments, they want to do alpha testing. Normally developers, but technically anyone in the in-house project can do, right from business analyst or tester or developer or even product owner. A lot of people, project manager, they get to involve in this for doing alpha testing. But in some companies, most of the time, developers actually work on that. Okay, it's done at the end of the development. See this, end of the development, and see if there is any issues or any bugs. Okay, that can be fixed. Okay, so this is called alpha testing. First, we have this another one. So it's called something called beta testing. Now, beta testing is actually, let's say the company has, they've got a software, okay, and they want to release to the whole world. Let's say they are released to the whole world. Now they are releasing the demo version. Let's say they are releasing the demo version, and they want to users to use this and see if they can find any bugs. Okay, so they are releasing to the whole world and telling that users to find if there are any bugs in it. So that's called beta testing. So that means application, so not complete application, only the demo version, and they want to see that the application is good, and they will be fixing that any issues in the original version of the application. That's called beta testing. So this testing is done by the end users, whoever is the user, they will be doing it. Okay. Any questions so far?
We are good.
Okay.
So, sir, what is the difference between the alpha testing and the beta testing?
Okay, so alpha testing is only in the company. They do only in the company. Okay, so whoever is responsible, responsible team members of the project, responsible team members of the project, like it might be developer, it might be tester, it might be most of the time it's developer. Okay, most of the time it's a developer, but any person who is responsible in the project is alpha testing. And the beta testing is actually done by the end user. That means it's released to the whole world and they say, why not do the testing? So that's the difference. Does it make sense?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, because yeah, company doesn't trust, right? Company says no, these developer testers have done, but we really don't trust them. They might miss something. Why don't people use this? Okay, why don't people use it? Why don't people open tickets? So you don't want to get too many defects in beta testing. Otherwise, see, the problem is the company spends a lot of money, right? So they don't want a lot of issues at the end. They whenever if you open an issue in the beginning, you open any issues in the developer point from the development stage, the less money company will be spending. But the issues which come later part, that becomes expensive for the company. So that's the reason, right? Still, okay, so acceptance, let's go back here. Okay, somebody wanted the system testing and acceptance testing. Okay, now first thing, system testing is more related to client applications. Whenever you install it, you do that system testing. Okay, whatever the application is installed or not, you want to see that. Okay, so that's different, first different. Okay, we want to see the entire system. It's like laptop. Let's say you have this laptop and you want to see all this. Okay, it's not all this, it's based on the requirements. Okay, what does the requirement say? Your requirement say browser testing, okay, you need to test all these browsers. Does it say anything else? You have to go Outlook testing, or you have to do this. So that's based on the requirement. So that's called system testing. What's installed in your system. Okay, and the acceptance testing is customer specified requirements. Okay, it's it's nothing. It can be web application, it can be client application. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, whatever the requirements sent by the customer, and again, the customer don't have to be individual guy. It can be a company, it can be an IBM, it can be Amdocs, whoever. They might be customer of something, right? So it don't have to be an individual or people. Okay, it can be a company too. So they might say, hey, you know what, this application, why don't you do this application? So they put that information and say that design this application. Okay, so that's the reason acceptance testing is done. Okay, so that's the difference. This is companies involved here. System testing you do, more related to client application, not much on web application. Now, acceptance testing can be done as a web application, or it can be, and most important, it is done by customer specified requirements. Okay. Any other questions?
No, sir.
After
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, somebody was trying to say something. Okay, so no questions. So let's go here. So yeah, even if if you have the questions in later stage, that's fine. Send me an email. Okay, we can schedule a call, or if I can respond, I will respond through email. Okay, so that's fine. So whenever you get questions, you can send me an email. Okay, so let's go here. Now this is, now let's say you've gone to work. Okay, now your lead has given you some work, right? Your lead has given you some work, and now your boss doesn't interact a lot to you, so don't worry about it. your lead said, hey, you know what, why don't you test this application? Okay, so they might not give you proper, they didn't give you proper email or no proper, they said just to test it. And you somehow you figure it out, like this is the URL, you search from SharePoint, you searched, you talk to your colleague, said that, hey, you know what, you go to this URL, this is what your project belongs to. Okay, so somehow you figure it out, this is the application and this is what you are going to test. Okay, that's good. Now you figure it out, this is a, now you are not going to ask your lead what I'm going to test. No, that's not a valid question. Just remember this. Now your lead has given some work to you. Now people make so many mistakes. But this is really not a valid question. Being an experienced, being an professional, that's not really a professional question. Okay, what I'm going to test? It's really not their job to answer that question. Okay, so what you can ask is, are we trying to do all of this testing? Are we going to do smoke testing? Are we going to do sanity testing, functional testing, performance testing? Are we going to do all this testing? Now that would be a valid question. Okay, because now they will say, okay, yeah, we are doing this. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's what some answers will be. But no way you cannot ask them what I'm going to test. Okay, just make sure you don't ask such such questions. So that's really not a valid question, and they'll not answer those questions either. Okay. Okay, so let's say you got this application. Now you know what to do. You need to test each and every part of this application, not just not just buttons or clicking. No, nothing. You have to test each and every part of the application. Okay, so at this point of time, we don't have requirement for this. So just okay, when I'm giving homework, please don't come up with, no, this image is in the right side, it should have been left side, this color is in green color, it should be in a blue color. Please don't come such kind of issues with me, because we don't have requirements for this and we cannot tell that is this right or wrong. Okay, so at this point of time, just hold on with that. Okay, so now let's say let's see. Okay, these are the buttons. Okay, good. Now I want to click this button. Okay, great. Now once I click this button, I get to see this. Okay, so now this is the retail company. That's great. How do I know? Because they're selling these many things. So that's the retail company, right? Okay, great. Now let's order something. Okay, let's order this. What I'm trying to do is, let's order this. I'm going to. I'm taking really some time to see you. Okay, everyone are comfortable. Okay. There's no hurry. So just clicking with proceed. Everyone has viewed this screen. So that's good. So I'll proceed with order. Okay, so there is no, I guess so many people have filled out all this information when buying online, right? So this is not big deal. So you guys can do this, okay? But really we are not doing that what we are going to do. You will see. We want American Express. Okay, now I want to put some information here and get this order for me. Just put my heading. Okay, and I'll just place this order here. Okay, great. So I'll just place an order. Okay, this is my receipt. And I'll see this, okay, this is billing to me and shipping to this address, that's good. A lot of things are happened, and okay, so this is what we did. So can anyone say, anyone found some issue here in between what we're trying to do? So what we did is we bought some quantity, some order, right? We placed an order and bought something. So my question to you guys is, did you guys found anything? So we went really fast, so obviously you might not find it, but did anyone notice something or found some bug in this in between when we are navigating it?
We are giving wrong information, credit card information, it's processed.
Okay, that's a good point. That's you know, give an exception to that, but that's a good point. Okay, let's ignore for for time being for that. That's a good. At least you came up with something. That's good. Okay. Yeah, MX. Okay, yeah, MX. Let's no, let's hold on with that. We'll not just worry on that. Okay, so we just we placed an order in a hurry, so we really didn't notice. Yeah, even me, I would not even notice that. Okay, but okay, that's good. Came up with something that's good. Okay, now let's go a little bit in detail here. Okay, let's find some issues here. Now here's the thing, what I'm trying to do here. What I'm trying to do is I'm doing testing, right? So I want to make sure everything is right. So what I'll do is let's take an example here. What I'm trying to do is putting large amounts here. Okay, so let's put this large amount. So this quantity, you see this quantity is in 100,000. Okay, that's good. Okay, now let's see what happens. Place an order. Okay, great. Now I'm ordering these many quantities here with the price of, okay, this comes up with this price. Okay, so can anyone find out a bug here? So there is a defect here. Can anyone say what's the defect?
Whether we need to check the quantity is present to be delivered. There should be a stock. There would be some stock to be there to deliver this much product.
That's a very good. That's a very good point. You found out earlier. That's good. We were actually going to that one. So that's good. You found that one. Okay. We didn't talk about it, so we talk in detail. Anything else? That's good. That's a good point. Yes, that's an issue. To be honest, that's an issue. But we'll discuss this a little later. Okay. Anything else? Yeah. Somebody said sales tax. Okay. Let's see. Somebody said sales tax. Okay, that's a very good point, because you don't have sales tax where in Delaware. You don't have sales tax in Delaware, right? So this is really good point. Because if you're buying this in New Jersey, that's fine. They might have tax, but if you're buying in Delaware, this should be zero. Now you're not going to charge this much. Okay, so that's good. Okay, great. Shipping. That's correct. Shipping is $5. Why? Now I'm ordering these many quantities. Let's say even this company wants to ship it through a USPS or Now do you think USPS charges $5 for these many quantities? Now this is a hypothetical question, just to understand what we are trying to do. We are trying to open issue, right? So I'm here looking into it that shipping and handling is showing is $5, but I'm ordering these many quantities. So if I want to imagine that even if these guys are shipping the least price, that is USPS, shipping and handling, they don't charge $5 for these many quantities. Okay, that's a different story. That company might say, okay, you're buying more than $100 or $200 are corporate. This will, these many quantities comes under corporate orders. So corporate orders, okay, we'll give you free shipping, no worries. So this will be completely should not be there as a, because you're making business with the company for these many orders. So obviously they'll give it for free. There's no reason to have this $5. Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, you don't, you cannot expect, $5 just for these many quantities. Okay, and especially at this amount of price, they will, give you for free, because you're making business for them, right? They make some profit. They're okay to, okay. So delivery status. I is not able to see where's the delivery status. Where's the delivery status? So somebody said delivery status is wrong.
Near to the product description.
Oh, okay, this one. Okay, good. So this is delivery status to be shipped. He's wrong. Okay. To be shipped. Yeah, it depends. I mean, I'm not, yeah, it's not yet shipped. So to be shipped, okay, they might have some different terminology. they can put not shaped or not placed in order or something like that. But yeah, this will be that's okay. We'll just give an exception for that. Yeah, that's a very good question. Yeah, how do we know? So somebody asked, right, how do we know even these many quantities exist? Right. That's a very good question. Somebody already pointed out. So we have to know the quantities, to do this. Okay. So this is the first issue yours. Okay. So people, you guys did really good. That's good. So here, let's do what we have to do when you start testing. Okay. First, when you start this, you need to come up with scenarios. Okay, what scenarios? There's something called positive scenario, there's negative scenarios, and boundary values. Okay, I've just shown an example how so that would come under positive scenario. Why and how? Let's take an example here. Order quantity. Quantity is in always numbers, not in alphabets. That's the reason I just put it. Numbers. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's positive testing. Okay, that's the reason that's called positive testing. There is also something called negative testing, negative scenario. Okay, now other than numbers, what you could imagine is negative numbers, -1, -2. Obviously, quantity cannot go in minus, so that would be a negative testing. You have to also perform that too. Okay, and other than that, you also have to perform with alphabets. A, B, C, D, okay, so all those things. So that is again comes under negative scenarios. Okay, now there is something called boundary values. Okay, the boundary values is something like, it's one, want to put 0.01 or 0.001. Now, so now this is really not, it's not, it doesn't come under, it is boundary testing. So you are testing the values of this. Okay, so this is how you need to perform this. Any questions so far in this? So far we performed positive scenario, right? We entered this value, okay, and okay, let's use a different browser. This Chrome has some issues, so you guys need to figure it out what the issue is. But here, I'll be giving homework on this. Okay, make sure you guys do the homework. Okay, so here let's this. Okay, now we have done with positive scenario. Okay, let's try a negative scenario here. Now, how does this negative scenario looks like? So I'm using a different browser. There is an issue with Chrome, so you guys need to figure it out. What's the issue? Okay, so here, let's say instead of number, I'm just putting alphabet. That's A. Okay, and clicking on place in order. Now this guy is saying, okay, this pop-up window showing up. Please enter only digits in the field. Okay, you understand that? And oh, so you see this? It went to order page, right?
Yes.
No, that's not a valid scenario, right? I mean, you cannot ship a quantity of A and get a total of $5, and what the customer is billing up. He's not getting anything. And I'm still able to fill up this whole application. So this is a bug. That's supposed to
Wrong redirect page.
I'm sorry, what is the wrong redirect of page?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an issue, right? That's right. So it should not, actually it's not even redirect, so we don't even go that. You should not accept that number, instead of accept, you should not let your page to move to the next page. Yeah. Okay. It should just show this option saying that please enter only digits in the field. Okay, I understand that. But next, you're not supposed to move to the next page. Okay, so yeah, so it's not should not redirect the page, and you should show the pop-up window saying that please enter only numbers. So that's the second defect. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay, so let's go to the third defect. So here's the thing. See, you're seeing this, right? You don't. I'm not even looking at the requirement document. I don't even know that they have this requirement, and there's no requirement for this. Okay, so I'm just using my observation skills. I'm just observing this application, see what is going on. Okay, I'm not even worried about at this point of time, not with what is the color of this, and I'm just using my common sense and observation skills, how this is performing and what it's supposed to do and what at that time. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, so let's see here. So somebody said, right, how do we supposed to know that the quantity is available or not? Okay, good. So let's see here. Okay, when I click that 3% DOM trend, you get some information here. So that means unit price 299, in stock 23. See this, in stock 23. So that means it's not supposed to allow more than 23 quantities. They only have 23. That's it. Okay, so now what happens? Okay, so 23. If I put 100, so it's supposed to show the pop-up window saying that no stock, or you don't have that much stock, only stock is 23, or some pop-up window showing up that but here's nothing showing up. And once you click on this, okay, so it's going to the next page. Now this is the problem. Why? Because let's say the customer is buying this and customer didn't notice that the stock was only 23 and the market, and a customer wants to buy 100. Okay, good. Now what happens is he will be getting only 23 items, because in the stock it has only 23. How can they deliver 100? They don't have that much quantity. They will be getting only 23. But the customer is going to bill on this amount, this total, this much amount. So now this is a problem. Why? Now what happens is the customer calls, let's say customer calls a customer care, hey, you know what, I'm getting only 23. Guys never told that it's 23. I paid for 100. What's going on? Now they don't respond. It's been 1 week, 2 weeks. It's not, they don't respond. This guy puts a lawsuit on that. They're charging too much of money and they didn't deliver. This is the receipt, and this is now who is going to lose? The business is going to get lost. This is what you have to notice, right? At the end of the day, it's a business. If the business is not doing good, it's no good. So that's the reason you need to find this bug. Okay, this might be small for you, for me, or for everyone, but if you are looking at the business perspective, it's a big loss, because if the customer is getting less quantity than ordered, the customer will take every action to get it, right? I've just paid and they have all the receipt here on online, email confirmation, everything, and they just go to put a lawsuit on the company saying that I'm really I paid for 100 quantity and I'm getting 23. This is not fair, and the company has to pay some, for the mistakes, $1 million, and that's a big deal. Okay, so that's, you understand that, small issue, right? Because if you say some tester didn't do job well, company is going to have a big loss, and once they figure it out, who's the tester behind it, who didn't do the work, that guy is going to get fired. Okay, so this issue can become big issue at the end. So you have to remember these things. Okay, so that's good. Somebody pointed this beforehand. That's good. This is very important. That defect was very important. Quantity. If you're not showing up right here, that quantity, and it's not supposed to navigate to the next page, right? It's not. It has to show some pop-up window saying that in stock it's only 23. You cannot order more than 23. On some information, and it is not supposed to go through this web page. But going to web page, now that will end up in big issue. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so okay, good. Because for you it might look very small and you might ignore it at the end of the day. If you ignore it, this small issue, that if you see this, right, it might end up in big loss to the business. And once they figure it out who is the tester behind it, and that guy is person is definitely going to get fired, because they will lose a lawsuit, and they will also have to pay back not just this money but for their mistake, for not doing their job well. Okay, so that's a very important thing. So that is second defect. Okay, the second defect is very important. Now, let's see here. So okay, so I just gave an example for this, 3% term trade. It's all for, for everything, it's like, different stocks. So, when I'm giving homework, don't come up with the same thing what I have told in the class. You have to come up with a creative, defect. Just please, from last few batches, whatever I'm telling that in the class, they're telling it again. They're saying no hiking boots, no hiking boots at the 32. We are ordering. This all belongs to one defect. Okay, it's no different. This is all. That means they have to set up some option showing up to the that pop-up window shows up or something like that. Okay, all this belongs to one defect, not. Although testing you have to do individually, that's a different thing. But you cannot come up with 6 defects for just one defect. That will get rejected. This will be only one defect for all of this. Okay, please don't come up with such kind of scenarios. I'm just giving you an example. Okay. Okay, so let's try another issue. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so some people also did really good job. They have read the information too. Some previous batches they read all this information and they figured out like there's a duplicate information too. So that's also a defect. Okay, so that was really good. Some people gone all through this and they said, okay, they are repeating this information. Okay, this is 2 times, so that's good. So that can be an also issue. So you have to go through each and everything, to find an issue, because at the end of the day, you have to find some defect. Okay, you cannot just sit idle. Okay, what is your job as a QA? QA means you have to at least see. I used to at least per week to at least 5 defects. Okay, I mean at an average. Okay, sometimes it goes high, sometimes that's fine, but you have to make sure that because they hire you because to show that application is broken. But it will be more simple because you will be having all the requirement documents, all those things will be there. So you're just going to look into it and find an issue. Okay, so you have to find an issue and show that this is the application, this is broken. Okay, and some things you may not be able to find it, so it's a good for a talking. Okay, you need to talk to a lead, talk to business analyst, saying that hey, you know what? For example, let's say what could be this example? Let's put it here. So some people said no. There is state is showing as New Jersey. There is no New Jersey. Even if I put NJ or if I put something else, it's accepting it. Okay. Okay. So these kind of things are actually not exactly defect. I would not say this would be defect, but this would be a question for a lead for a business analyst to be it would be a question for a business analyst why the state does not have options. Are we shipping internationally? The reason you don't have this because are you shipping internationally? Then this, of course, every state is different. So that's the reason, you cannot open such kind of things, defects. That's really not a defect. Okay, so let's try to do this. Okay, let's find out one more defect here. Okay, so now let's say, what is this? Please, January. Okay, now what I will try to do is 12, 17. Okay, let's see this, what happens. Okay, so this is okay. So let's say your card was expired on first week of January, right? Let's say first week of, this is today is 9th, right? Let's say it got expired on 5th. Now your card is expired. Okay, so imagine your card is expired, but the application is still going through, right? Because the expiration should be the later month. Okay, you cannot use this, this month, or you have to have, you cannot use an expired credit card. So 118, okay, that means January, and the end date was on 5th. And your card is technically expired. Okay, you cannot move an application forward with an expired credit card. Okay, so this might not be valid for now. We just because previous classes it was shown up good, because this is the start of year, right? So that's the reason it's good. This is performing well for now. Okay, so normally you cannot, you have to also check that. That's also an important defect. But we'll just keep it on hold on this one. So until see what's happening. Okay, so you cannot move an application with an expired credit card. Okay, so that's another defect. Any questions so far?
I'm good.
Okay. Okay. That's good. Okay, yeah, you have to maintain this, this thing. You have to be proactive whenever someone asks a question. Okay, because it doesn't matter, you answer me or not. It really doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, I know when your boss asks, you have to be very, crisp, answering the questions. Okay, you need to be very crisp, and to make sure, you're doing it right. Okay, so now I'll be giving you homework on this.
Okay.
Oh, give me a second. Okay. So I'll be giving you homework. So I'll be giving you instructions how to, just I'll be giving you a document too. Just put a screenshot, and I need a screenshot what exactly is defect. Because without screenshot, it's no point. Because you will be just having ping pong, right? You'd say developer that this is the defect, or developer says where's the defect. I don't see the application, it looks good to me. So if you're not giving the specific value or specific issue what you are actually trying to show, you cannot convey the message, then it will be just keep running around, just not good. So screenshot is very important, so make sure you guys put a screenshot. Okay, so here see each and everything in this application. Okay, these buttons, we have just discussed about one button. There are 3 buttons. Go ahead and use all these buttons. Okay, so you're free to see each and every line on this page, each and everything. If you find something very peculiar or something like that, Okay, that's a good thing to talk about. It may not be always defect. Okay, you need to talk with the lead, saying that, hey, you know what, this is showing up something odd, but the requirement says something else. So you know, is this a defect? Can I organize this defect? You need to always talk if you found something which is odd, but it may not be always a defect. Okay. So if you know, go each and everything. Okay, if you have to go this, you know, some people also read all this information, seen all this information, and they came up with something that, you know, is duplicate information. Okay? So people who have previous batches are really, you know, done good. Okay, let's see if I can find. Okay, so this is, you know, just try everything. Try special characters. Okay, try alphabets. Okay, use some tilde. Okay, then try to place in order. This is going through. Okay, and not just one browser. You're not just sticking to one browser. You have to test with all the browsers. That means Microsoft Edge. If you have Microsoft Edge, IE, Internet Explorer 11. So latest is 11, right? Or you could try Microsoft Edge. And then you have Mozilla Firefox, Chrome, and then people who are using Mac, they can also try Safari, or you can install Safari and try to use this and how the application performing. And in some browser it's showing up good, in some browser doesn't. Okay, so you have to also you know, find out that issues too. Okay, so not just one browser, perform in multiple browsers. Okay, major browsers are IE or Microsoft Edge, Firefox, Chrome, Safari, major browsers. Okay, these are the major browsers, because when you're doing the QA testing or QA, you have, you know, you will be performing all these browsers. Okay, not just limited to one browser. Okay, yeah, I'll be sending you a link. Okay, link, and so people who didn't get, okay, send me an email. Don't pick in the chat. Okay, send me an email to. Okay, let me write it down. Okay, don't ping it here, because you know, a lot of you know, emails are getting rejected. Okay, so many people, because some people, you know, miss underscores and hyphen. So that's the reason we want to ping in. Send me an email so that I get an email, or I'll copy that email and use that. Okay, so yeah, again, people who are not getting, you know, by 4 p.m. you have to get it. If you're not getting by 4 p.m., then I sure that I don't have your email ID. You have to send me an email so that I'll add you in the list, and you know, I'll send them. Yeah, so I actually I didn't send any homework yesterday. I just sent only the book, but today I'll be sending homework. Actually, this book sent yesterday. And just to read. You know, this in your free time, you don't have to, you know, go through all this, but just in your free time, whenever you get a chance, you can read it. Oops. It's about quality, you know, assurance, and you know, try this. Just a theoretical point of view. Okay, once you do practical, you'll be understanding this, you know, what's the theory about. Okay. Okay, so if no questions, can we close this class for today?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you guys.